then this sent a pathway going in the opposite direction. So our challenge as New Zealanders is to enable growth and economic well-being while respecting and supporting access to public health, safeguards to the environment, and one that's going to be inclusive for all, including families and communities overseas. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Myra Gomez to come and speak. She has a master's from the University of California and is indigenous rights activist from the Aymara Nation of Bolivia.
It's great to be here amongst opinionated leaders, people. In America, and I mean the continent, not just the country, globalization began with the 1%, the monarchy. They wanted more, and they got it. They went to the international law arbiter then, the Vatican, and went and got more dominions. When Columbus arrived in 1492, that marked the start of an orgy of greed and genocidal violence. It was called colonization. They said they came to civilize our savages. Sound familiar? They tried by subjugation, by dehumanization techniques. They outlawed our practices, our languages, even our ceremonies. They even tried assimilating us and exterminating us. It didn't work. We're here. We resisted, and we were left. We were left with a long trail of broken agreements and unfavorable legislation, ever pushing us farther into remote areas, losing our land. Every time new natural resources came about, they came again. They brought the merchants, they brought the missionaries, they brought whoever they could to appropriate more of our lands. Now, not just our lands, our resources, but now our traditional knowledge as well. This past is not done and dusted. It continues today. The monarchies, their offsprings, have now morphed into powerful, ever-expanding corporations. Now they say they want to develop us. Their development, again, presupposes our inferiority and prescribes modernization as the only path for a better life. In its most recent incarnation, their development is limited or prescribes privatization, export-led growth, and, free trade agreements. The resource-intensive growth at any price, at any cost economic model proposed by the 1% and exported with missionary zeal to the rest of us threatens to overwhelm the carrying capacity of Mother Earth and provoke a global environmental catastrophe. Climate change is perhaps the most known one, but there are many other hazards, including grave shortages of fresh water, rapid degradation, desertification of agricultural lands, unprecedented extinction of its species, widespread chemical contamination of land, air, water, and human bodies. States wanting to control these damages risk getting a financial slap by their juries, the corporations' juries, because the new set of trade agreements allow these judgments to overturn domestic legislation in favor of these foreign companies. I'm here to provide you 3 examples from my continent: Ecuador, Peru, and Canada. After decades of environmental pollution in the Amazon, Ecuador ended their oil contract with Occidental Petroleum. They in turn sued Ecuador, and a World Bank tribunal ordered Ecuador to pay them a penalty of $2.4 billion, citing the U.S.-Ecuador bilateral investment treaty. In a mountain town of Peru, La Oraya, Peru noticed that Renco Corporation was spewing this lead pollution into the air, causing the children to have mental retardation, stunned growth, convulsions, so they ordered them to clean it up. Renco responded by launching an $800 million claim against the government, citing the U.S.-Peru Free Trade Agreement. In Quebec decided they wanted a moratorium on fracking because they wanted to do some environmental impact assessments as to the leaching of impacts of the chemicals that are being leached, the gases, etc., from fracking. But the frackers didn't like that. The Lone Pine Resources Corporation demanded $250 million against Canada, saying Canada violated the North American Free Trade Agreement. Now, Indigenous nations have long resisted misguided development projects that threatened our livelihoods, our beliefs, our traditions, and our ways of life. We have made some progress since then along the way. Now we are right holders. We possess distinctive rights as the original peoples of colonized lands who maintain our unique political, our unique cultural identity. We pray for focus on new economies based on principles of living in harmony with nature and governed by the absolute limits and boundaries of our finite planet, Mother Earth. We can only do it by taking collective control of our natural resources based on the principles of people's participation, gender equality, environmental and social justice, and being mindful of the needs of the whole of humanity, not just a few, the 1%, while maintaining deep respect, recognition, and responsibility of the natural laws of Mother Earth and all life within. We will persevere. We will persevere in our struggle to gain self-determination and autonomy. And no matter what states in the United Nations or other organizations tell you, there will be, until the self-determination of Indigenous people is not respected, there will not be sustainable development goals achieved. Genuine sustainable development goals. Lastly, we call on the repeal of all existing agreements, a moratorium of all new agreements, not including our free, effective, our engagement. The right to free, prior, informed consent is fundamental. It must be respected. Nothing about us without us. Kia ora.
I take a lot of comfort